So apparently I have not recorded the part that I thought I was recording, so I'll start over again. So today I want to talk to you about how to create texture, and I have rediscovered my little sketchbook. This is the Khadi paper, so it is soft cover, so it doesn't have cover on it, so you could decorate it with some gesso and some art on the covers as well. And I love the format, it's very small, and so I keep this sketchbook for repetitive patterns. I have already created a little tutorial last night which I posted on my Instagram, so check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Alyona Creates. I shared how to create these simple repetitive kind of pattern leafy design, which is super relaxing thing to do. And yes, so having reorganized my studio, I have rediscovered this sketchbook, and that's the sketchbook I want to use for these textures, because I want to show you how to create kind of repetitive texture in a way as well, or what you could do with it. So I have squeezed out 3 colors here: Liquitex, Arte Great Acrylic, and this is the heavy body. The difference between heavy body and a regular acrylic is that regular acrylic tends to be a bit more runnier. This one has a bit more of a kind of thicker texture, which means you could build it up and create lovely textures in your paintings if that's something you wanted to do. So the colors I have is Alizarin, Crimson Hue Permanent, Titanium White, and Medium Magenta for this one, which is really pretty. Kind of almost matches my nail polish. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try and find this little card. Okay, I found the card. So it's just I'm going to use a little kind of plasticky card, and I'm going to spread. So it's really easy to work in this technique. So I'm going to take some of the white and then just sort of haphazardly spread it and create like a, you know, like a mixed media background, really. So that's good. And then let's do a bit more on this other side. So while it's still wet, you can then take your, so this is called Catalyst, and you can just start creating patterns like that and textures. So then you could also go across, and you can see these little bits, you can pull them out and create a nice little design like that. Then I have this one here, which is 15B05. I'll link all of them down below. Now you have to work while things are still quite wet. So lovely texture. Again, you can see what I have here is I can take it onto elsewhere. Just create a bit of texture this way. So it's really easy to do. And what you could do is you could squeeze out a little bit more of the white and maybe actually mix it with the red. To create a new color like that, and then work on top as well. And then take a bit more white and break it up so it's not too pink, if that's what you don't like. And same thing here, I could break that up a little like that, create a bit more interest. And again, let's just try doing lines across, and you pick up the color from underneath, which I find quite nice. And again, use it elsewhere in the project, like that. And then of course you have got these ones which are just, you could use them in so many different ways. You could scrape on the side, you could make little dots with the corner of it. You could sort of smear a bit of paint. There's this little thin one which you could create little shapes if you wanted to. If you don't like it, you could just smudge them back out and maybe just create little dots. So it is really, really fun to add a little bit of texture to your projects, and then you could of course doodle on top of it with any color that you wanted. You could use like paint pans, or you could probably white gel pan would get a little lost here because there's quite a bit of white, but you could do black inks and just really have fun. The other thing that these catalysts and textural tools are great for are these jelly plates. So I got a small little one after buying the square, because the square was fun, but it was a bit difficult for me in terms of, I wonder what these white bits are. Are they supposed to be there? I don't remember them being there when I first got them, but I almost, when I touch it, I feel like they're like little holes in the resin. Let me know if you have the same thing. Can you see that? I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to be there. Weird. Anyway, so what you can do here is you can work straight onto the, so I'll squeeze my paint onto the paper here, onto the palette, and let's go with the other pink this time, the magenta medium. So you can basically, don't need that much, and you're just going to cover your jelly plate in this paint. Remember, jelly plate doesn't like too much, so just be quite cautious. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our catalyst and make marks which are going to be a lot softer and smoother. So then what we could do is we can print it straight onto here like that, and then lift it, and there is our transferred image. And the other thing you could do is you could also, that's probably a little bit much, but you can also play with colors. So imagine you put a darker color first, like that. Make sure it's nice and thin. And then, actually I don't know what's going to happen, but what if I just squeeze a little bit of this acrylic ink? It might make a lot of mess, but let's just try. I'm gonna use this throughout, see what happens. Kind of seems to break down that bit of a paint there, but let's see if that's going to be anything interesting. And I'm just going to print right on top and lift. And then we could reveal the yellow underneath like that. That's quite nice. So then you have loads of this color. If you're just going to add white to it, it should basically pick up on the next print. It should pick up all of that pinkiness and have it on the white background. That's the idea, but let's see whether that is going to work or not. So I'm just going to use up this acrylic paint. And let's just print it on here. So the idea is that all these colors, the yellow and the pink, will now come off, hopefully, and have it on the white background. Yeah, so that's quite nice. Now, be quite careful before they dry. Obviously, you don't want to start ripping your paper. So that's that, and then again you could just do, let's see, you could for example take what's remaining on your palette and just add these random colors here and there like that, and then just use this scraper for thicker lines. And then let's just print it like a bit higher up here. That's it. So that's a lovely pattern and texture. And same thing here. If you have anything remaining, just add white. And that will kind of take it off again, but I'm just going to try maybe use up the remaining color here. Don't have that much, so I need a bit of white. There we go, that might be a bit much, but let's see. And again, let's just have a little fun time with this. Again, I'm just going to make these really thick stripes like that, and I'm just going to print it down below here. There we go. So you can just carry on and carry on. In fact, I want to fill these 2 pages, so what I'm going to do is, again, white on top, and just added a thin layer over the entire jelly plate. By the way, if you have kids, they love this sort of thing because they can make so many patterns. They can just sit there for hours. Mason loves it. So there you go. And I think I might just leave the yellow. That's it, just kind of peeking through it. And then that's my textured background ready for doodles and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So you can see you can create loads of fun little textures and play with it. If you use this scraper on like hard paper, it creates a thin kind of stripe, or yeah, stripe. If you do it on a like a soft jelly plate, it creates a nice thick stripe. So that's all I wanted to share with you today, and that is it. Thanks for watching and see you soon.